is going to run along the top. I do record all of my sessions and they get posted to a YouTube channel. Also, I send a recap out. That recap will include a nice little breakdown of everything that we're doing today, as well as a link to the recordings and any assets that I'm going to feature or talk about in today's session. For anybody that doesn't know me, my name is Anuj. I am the field marketing specialist here in Santa Cruz and Monterey County. And today we're going to talk about saving your Listing Concierge assets out of Listing Concierge app in CB Desk onto your computer and then uploading them to a cloud storage system. In my example, it's going to be OneDrive because that is something included in the tool set on CB Desk, but the process is going to be the same in regards to downloading to your computer for everybody, and you can upload to any cloud storage provider of your choice. It could be OneDrive, or you could use something like Google Drive or iCloud, whatever the case may be. Like I said, I'm using OneDrive because it's already provided in the tools that we use. And then a little bit of the why for this class, for those that are on the TMAP for agent calls, which are something you can sign up for in Sales Pro. You guys probably heard us talking about developing a brand new version of the Listing Concierge program to be better for our Cold Wall Banker agents. I'm not going to go into all of the details about that, but it's a long story short is we've developed a new system, and part of the transition is going to be transferring your photos, brochures, saving any links that you want for any of the properties that you purchased packages for, and getting them onto your computer or a long-term storage idea like a cloud server, which is what this class is going to go over. So you have those assets for future marketing purposes, whether they're listing presentations for your website or any kind of marketing that you want to utilize. This way they're all there and ready for you to use. Anyway, I'm done rambling. Let's go ahead and dive into the class. I'm going to share my screen and we'll get started. And just a quick note, because of the time of day, I may, because of the internet, drop off. If that happens, Genevieve is on the call. She'll let me know where I disappeared. I usually am able to get back within 60 seconds. So just in case that happens, hang tight and I come back. But other than that, let's go ahead and dive into this. We're going to start just by looking at CB Desk, and the two places we're going to live in for this class are Listing Concierge, because these are the resources we're going to save, and the Microsoft Office 365 and email, because that's where we will gain access to the OneDrive system that we're going to put the files into for long-term storage. So I'm using one of my agents. Willie Eagleton is kind enough to let me use his Listing Concierge account as an example. So we're going to do a little bit of setup here to kind of show you how we want to go through this process. So I'm going to pick the listing that I want to save these assets for first, and that's going to be 125 32nd Avenue. So I'm going to quickly minimize this and go to my desktop. This all starts by laying down some groundwork. We're going to create a folder on my desktop. As you can see right here, I've got one. I'm going to move it out, called Listing Concierge Assets. So I'm on a Windows machine. You right click, make a new folder. And as I noted here, I called it Listing Concierge Assets because it's easy for me to remember. And this way, I have one central place where I'm saving all of my subfolders, which will be the individual listings themselves. If I open this up, what we see here is I've got, a couple of quote unquote listings saved. We've got 123 Fake Street, 234 Blank Street. And then now I'm going to create a new folder in here for the next listing I am going to save, which is 125 32nd Avenue, Santa Cruz. And now that I've got this done, I'm going to put everything as we download and save things from Listing Concierge all into here to make my upload process a lot easier for myself in the grand scheme. So now that I've done that, let's jump back into Listing Concierge. I'm going to go again to the order that I want, and I'm going to hit Manage Order. Now we are on the listing dashboard. From here, we're going to pick and choose all of what, as I noted, whatever you think you're going to want to utilize for future listings or for future marketing purposes from this platform here. I'm going to start with the easy one and the obvious one, photos. So first off, I'm just going to blow this up a little bit here to make it easier to see. And I'm going to go right from underneath where it says listing dashboards right to photos. Now, photos that you are using by any of our photographers in the Listing Concierge system will have automatically been uploaded into this system. But if you were using your own photographer, you've probably got them saved on some other resource that photographer gave to you. If you've uploaded them and are re-downloading them, this would be, we're just going over how to download the photos from this source. And in Willie's case, he used F8, so the photos were already put into this system, and he's got no other place where he can immediately grab them from. So what we're going to do is, as you can see here, we clicked on photos. All of his photos are listed right here, and we just need to click this Select All button. And just like that, everything will get grabbed and we hit high res. This will give us the print quality photography that we can save for long-term use. Once we click on it, the download should start. It's going to take a couple of seconds because, as I said, time of day, using the internet, plus some streaming and recording, lots of stuff happening. But there we go. My download has started. In my case, my computer is downloading these to my downloads folder. I already know that because that's where in most cases, that's where everything will go. But some computers are different. Now, if you have a Windows machine or you're using Google Chrome, you should be able to go right down to that downloaded file, which is now finished. I can click this arrow right next to it, and it'll give me the option to show in folder. That will take me right to where this item is indeed in my downloads folder. And all I'm going to do is now click and hold this listing photos folder and move it by dragging it and then letting go. And as you can see, it says move to 125 32nd Avenue, Santa Cruz. That will copy that file right into that folder. I'm going to go ahead and close my downloads folder. And if we click into the 32nd Avenue, we can see we've got a listing folder file saved. So awesome. I've got my photos in there. Next, let's go back. We're going to go back to my browser. I'm going to go ahead and close out the little download thing to make the screen full. We're going to click again on Listing Dashboard. Listing Dashboard is going to take us right back to where we were at the start, and now we can see all of our services again that were in the system. So let's say the next thing we want to save, we're really happy with the brochure, and we want to pull that out for later use. Now, the way we download this will be the same exact way we download something like the mailer or the ad or your postcards or your flyer. But I'll go over a couple of them just to make sure that everybody's got the process. We are going to click on brochure, and we're going to go ahead and right underneath that UPS tracking information, there is a little arrow. I'm going to zoom in again right there. And when you hover over it, it says download. I'm going to click on that. And just like with the Listing Concierge photos, the download will start. Now I'm going to go over another way to get to those. Let's say you didn't have the opportunity to just click show in folder. So I know that those went to my downloads folder, and it's called preview and a bunch of numbers, because if I hover over it, it will give me its name. and it ends in 3504. So I'm going to go ahead and go to I'm going to click on my little Windows icon to get to my documents. This will open up my documents panel, and then right here underneath there, I've got downloads, which will take me to all of my downloaded folders, and these are sorted alphabetically. You can always change the view by clicking on view and you know, changing it for whatever works best for you. Like you can have details about your information and then sort them by date that they were downloaded to look them up easier. As I said, the default's usually by name. So again, I'm going to go to P because it was called preview. And we've got, there it is. I'm going to double click on it to make sure I've got the right item. This is indeed my brochure for our house in Pleasure Point, 125 32nd. So I am going to, once again, like that other file, click, drag, and move it into 125 32nd Avenue, Santa Cruz. Now, obviously, I don't want to save it as preview and a bunch of gibberish numbers because I'm never going to remember what that is. So the easy thing to do is right-click on that file, hit rename, and we're just going to call it brochure. And now we can go back to Listing Concierge. That's been completed. We could do the same exact thing for any of the other printable assets, much like the mailer, for example. We'll go right in here, download by clicking on the little gray arrow. It will give us a file that we can then ask to show in folder, minimize the browser again. We're going to grab that preview file. We can click on it. This is the mailer that goes out in the silver envelope. Again, we want to make sure we have it right file. I'm going to click on it, move it over to 125 32nd Avenue, Santa Cruz. And then I'm going to go ahead and close my downloads to make it easy to see again. And then again, we can right click, rename, mailer. And now I've got an easy go-to for everything that I've got in here. And as I said, you can do the same process for things like the little ad copy that went into, if you click on advertising, it will show you the ad itself. And then you'll want to note what, so if you bought like the Bay Area News Group, you can note down what publications that includes and let them know this is the ad that ran in those publications. You could download your grab and go flyers, whatever you would like. Now let's talk about stuff that you can't download. So we're going to go back to the listing dashboard. What about something like the property website? So saving something like this, or if you have a Matterport, for example, let's say you got a 3D rendering of the property made. If you needed to get to that, it would be we're going to go back to photos, and you would usually see another tab here to include that. We didn't get a Matterport for this property, but for those of you that have seen them, it's a link that you would click to that opens up a much like a website, right? It's a link that you need to save. So we're going to go, now that I've digressed about that, we're going to go back to talking about saving something like a property website or your Matterport that are links. I'm going to click on the one that was created, which is Global Luxury Website A. There's a little check mark right there to remind you which one was done. And then all we go to is click URLs. And this branded URL, again, you can confirm by clicking on it to double check, making sure everything is like it is supposed to be. And the way to save these is I'm going to go ahead and just create a Word document on my computer. So I'm going to open Microsoft Word by going to Office 365. 65. hit stay signed in. And this is also the same way we're going to access OneDrive in just a moment. But this is where all of the Office tools that you guys have access to live. I'm going to click on Microsoft Word because we want to make a document that we can save to have for long-term storage purposes, just like any of the other assets we are downloading. So I've gone ahead and clicked on blank document, creating a new one. And again, making it easy on ourselves, we will call this 125 32nd Avenue, Santa Cruz, links. And property website. I'm going to go ahead and right click, copy, or Control C for a Windows machine. And then you can go ahead and paste right in here. You can also, as I noted, do the same thing for your Matterport and do the same thing for the YouTube video that is being utilized in our region, for example, on Fox 35 as a part of At Home in Northern California. So I'm going to go ahead back on the listing dashboard, clicking on television and video. This will give us the link we need. I'm going to click the drop down from this air, date, and YouTube video, and it will take us right to the YouTube video on the At Home in Northern California channel. Now, you obviously want to have these downloaded, and not only for utilization on future marketing for yourself, but you want to save these and upload them to your own channels. I talk about that in the YouTube 100 class that I have posted on my channel, and a ton of my colleagues talk about the importance of utilizing and repurposing a lot of the listing concierge marketing to increase the exposure of your brand. So 2 ways to save this. First one is saving the link. I click share, and then I'm going to click copy, and that's going to give me the link. Or if you didn't want to go through the extra step, you could just copy it right here from Listing Concierge. I'm going to go back to that document. And again, save that link right here. You can also, and I will send you guys the link to this tool online, download it to, again, utilize on your own YouTube channel, on your website, post it to your Instagram, wherever you would like. We're going to pick the highest quality one, which is at 720p. Click on download, and this will generate a link to a video that you will be able to access and download for yourself. Gonna wait for it to wrap up. As soon as that green bar finishes, you can see another download button. We're gonna click on that, and just like all of the assets before, it's going to download and save to my downloads folder. So I've saved that video, and let's say I've gone ahead and I've saved all of the links that I have associated with this as well. In Microsoft Word, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go to the top left and hit File, and I'm going to click on Save As, and we're going to hit Download a copy to save to your computer. That will save this to your computer, just like that video we just downloaded. I'm going to do the same thing that we've been doing and grab both of those and move them into the folder. And then now we're going to finally upload everything into the system, into our cloud storage system. So before we do that, let's go ahead and grab those last 2 assets. I'm going to go into my downloads. And that first one, I realized it downloaded as just document. I'm going to change the name as soon as I move it in here, like we've been doing with everything else. That commercial is the address. So I'm going to 125 32nd Avenue, Santa Cruz. We're going to copy that over. going to right click on document, rename that to links. And for time purposes, let's say these are all the assets I want to save out of Listing Concierge for this specific listing. I'm going back to the listing dashboard. You know, we've downloaded let's say we've downloaded the flyer already. We've gotten everything we wanted out of here, and we're going to go ahead and go through the process of uploading. I'm going to close some of these extra tabs that I don't need anymore. Just to make this easy, we've gone ahead and saved this to our computer. I've got everything I need for this listing in my 125 32nd Avenue, Santa Cruz, located inside a folder on my desktop called Listing Concierge Asset with all of the other listings from my system that I will be saving. So if I've got 3 listings in here, I'm going to save all 3 of those listings, and then we're going to upload them. Now, how do we do that? Let's go to CB Desk, and we're going back to Office 365. Much like I got to Microsoft Word, going to go into this system, and we're going to hit all of the programs we can access. I want to get into OneDrive. That is our cloud storage partner that we're going to use. Once we open it, it will look like yours might look empty. Mine, as you can see, there's a bunch of stuff in it. It is linked with my computer. So everything that is being saved is also being saved here. You guys can choose to do that yourselves if you would like to have that set up. That's a different topic. I'm going to talk about just uploading something individually. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so it's easier to see. Quick show around of what we have going on here. Your profile is located right here. This is something, it's your Microsoft account. We're not really going to dive into that because it's not necessary. But what is this top bar right here has all of the command features that you can do. New, you can create new Word documents, Excel, PowerPoints right in here if you would like. You can create new folders, you can upload items, you can have this sync with your computer. Like I said, if you have that link set up, you can choose how you want to sort the files that are in here, how you would like to view the files that are in here. All of these will read out just like folders on your computer. I have them default sorted by name. You've got a tab here. The modified will let you know the last time anyone went in here to change something. Modified by is who. You can share access to libraries if you are working with a partner or a team or something like that. You can have a file shared with an individual. We'll put a pin in that because I'll get to it in just a second. And then if you were using, let's say I was working with my colleague Genevieve on something and I was sharing that with her and she uploaded something, then it would show that name here. And instead of saying private on this side, it would say shared. Everything that says private is only accessible by the user, which in this case is me. And then file size in between them, self-explanatory, how many items are in that file. You have the option to select any item by clicking on the little check bars next to it. That will allow you to download a file. You can copy the link. You can share this file with somebody if you wanted to by emailing it to them. You can delete something if you would like. You can move it to another folder. You can make a copy of it. Or you can grab multiple things and mass delete, move multiple items, download multiple items, and then there's obviously a select all to do that as well. And then on your left-hand side, there's a management bar where you can see recent files. Obviously, my files is where it will open to by default. You've got your recycle bin, which is everything you'll be deleting, and then any shared libraries that you have. Bigger conversation for a different day. Let's get back to the main task on hand, which is our upload of our assets. So I'm going to go ahead and hit upload. And we're going to upload a folder. Now, I've got all of my assets for all of my listings already saved on my desktop in a folder that I titled Listing Concierge Assets. Once I highlight that folder, I can hit upload. It has 5 files in it because there were 2 empty blank street and fake street, and then the one, my 32nd Avenue. All we have to do is confirm, right? I do have 5 files. I'm going to hit upload. Just like that, everything's going to start. As you can see, a progress bar popped up right here. If I can click on that and see all of the items that are uploading as they happen. And immediately we can see a few seconds ago, because as we noted alphabetically, we go down to the L's, Listing Concierge Assets, created by me. Right now there is 1 item in it. It is private. And there are more items uploading. And as soon as I click on this, you can see everything will start to organize just like it is on the file in your computer. And that's it. You have successfully uploaded everything to your long-term cloud storage provider. The big benefit here is now that, regardless of what happens to your computer, you've got a running, documented copy of everything that happened with that listing and all of the assets associated with it for future use for as long as you need them. I am going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and open up the floor to any questions that anybody has. I will also check the chat, obviously, to see if there's any there, but feel free to unmute yourselves and ask any if you feel like you have any. Do we have a list of agents that have placed orders in the past to notify them about the transfer? Yes, Todd, I have, for the most part, yeah, I have a list of agents that we can get in touch with. Anne asked, how do you create the file on the desktop again? I will share my screen and show you. Let's go back to screen share. So again, with a Windows machine, and I'm pretty sure Apple machines are the exact same way. You right click and you'll get a little window that pops up just like I did right there. And we just go right to new and select folder. And a new folder will pop up, which we can name whatever we would like. And that's your new folder. And you can start populating it with whatever you need to fill. The easiest way, like I noted, to get all of this done is to save everything to the computer first, and then you can do one big giant upload to your cloud partner and have everything saved in one foul swoop.
Anuj, this is Anne again. Is it best to save it to the desktop rather than in documents? No, that's just my personal preference because it's easy for me to grab when it's all on, like I like to put something on my desktop and then I'm going to dump, as I noted, in one big swoop to the cloud. But you could create that folder in your documents. You could create it in your, wherever you would like, whatever's most convenient for you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions that I can answer? As I noted, I will include a recap with a series of some screenshots to kind of help gloss over some of the points that I may have glossed over. I'll have some screenshots there just to help guide. But as always, a recording of this will be made available in that recap as well. And then feel free to reach out to myself or any